Okay. Hi.
Hello.
This might get a touch crooked on here. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So, day.
My hair looks crazy.
Video 160. Do you need your hat?
Mad scientist. No, I'm alright.
Day 160. I think you should get your guitar.
Why?
Are you not in a guitar place? It's okay if you're not.
I'm not.
So today is 160, and if you've never watched our videos before, we're adopting 2 little girls from Liberia. I've been in that process for 26 months. Usually doesn't take that long, especially when you choose older kids like we did. Our kids are 6 and 8 now. They were 4 and 6 when we started. And we, after being stalled out for an extra, basically year from where we should have been, we decided just to come to Liberia. We did have the blessing of our agency to visit Liberia and just get to know our kids and try to see what we could do to help move the process along, and also just provide some humanitarian aid to the orphanage and to the people of Liberia. Liberia ranks 187th for economic prosperity out of 195 countries. Of course, the U.S. is in the top 5. Depending on if you look at like worth of a country versus economic prosperity, I mean, the U.S. is probably number 1, maybe number 2, just depending on which statistic you're looking at. So today was a good day. It was an emotional day, I think, for me on the inside. I slept terribly last night. I was up to like 5 a.m. I finally got to take a nap when we got back, and I feel like a human again. But like, I mean, I was texting some of my friends before my nap, and I could tell like on my text, I'm like, this is awful. So we started our day with the plans to meet Albert, the orphanage director here in Liberia, at a mattress. They call it a mattress factory. They don't make mattresses there. It's not a factory. It's just like a warehouse. Mm-hmm. And so we went to Freeport in Monrovia, and that's basically where the port is, where the big ships come in. One of the places the ships come in and unload things. So all their imported products come through there. So we went there. So I'm going to take a little pause, and I'm going to show you, I try to speed up the time. I want to show you guys like the road there. So it was about an hour and a half from our hotel. We usually when we go to the orphanage, we pack like snacks and some drinks and stuff for the kids, but we did not do that because we sleep in, so we're still in America time. So like we'll watch some TV after we're done here. So here it's 10:30, but like for us it's 6:30, and we've never really changed our clocks on that. Our kids like to play.
Yeah, I think the earliest we started going to bed was when we first got here. It was like 1:30 was our cutoff.
Yeah, we never went. But now we're kind of addicted to the Netflix, so we'll kind of. And there's no reason to get up, you know. Like we don't have to be anywhere. And when we go visit the orphanage, we wait till the girls are out of school, which is got to be like after 3:00. So we leave here around 2. So today, it was kind of funny. We were like, wonder what Albert's version of this morning is. He's like, let's talk about it in the morning. And Jeremy was like, oh. So we had our driver come get us at 10. Albert had mentioned 9 a.m. We heard from him. We called him at 10:30 after we hadn't heard from him. But of course, he was already out and about doing stuff. But so he talked to our driver and told us to, because for Albert to come all the way to the Tropicana and back would have been a 2-hour drive. And really, he just needs my credit card. So we got $2,395 in donations, and then an extra $300 specifically earmarked to help with car repairs for Albert specifically. He needs new brakes, new spark plugs, stuff like that. And these are things that our agency back in the U.S. typically supports, but they're out of funds because they haven't processed an adoption in probably 8 months. And even when they were processing adoptions, they only did 5 last year, and they're used to doing like 20 a year. So the throughput of the fees they charge and kind of the way they do things has been paused. It's been completely suspended for 6 months, or 7 months now, but it's been paused or kind of like trickling for about 1.5 years. So a year before that, it's been 1.5 years of lack of throughput. There was a mass email that went out to donate to our agency. So, and all the families that continue to hang in there, are still paying like we are. We're paying $500 a month for our kids to live at the orphanage and receive food and care and all that. So the inspection's coming. So what we're hoping is, so the Ministry of Gender, which is basically child welfare, what we're hoping is that we want them to lift the suspension. The suspension came from their office in the last presidential administration in 2023. 2024, we got a whole new administrative staff, and the whole government changed over. because they got a new president. So that causes some problems for, you don't want to clean up somebody else's mess. So our suspension is illegal based on Liberian law. The U.S. Embassy has kind of butt in some from what we hear, although we don't have proof of that technically. But the inspection is supposed to happen. We've heard rumors that we don't know for sure that are true, that the police, the U.S. Embassy, and the Ministry of Gender are all going to be present for this inspection of the facility to check on the kids. They've been to like Jeremy said before, they've been to the facility to check on the kids multiple times, but there hasn't been a formal inspection where they I don't know what they're...
Well, I feel like that was an inspection that was formal. It just wasn't for the purpose of lifting the suspension, which is the purpose of this. So the purpose
of this is to lift the suspension. Our lawyer for the agency has pushed very, very hard to have the suspension lifted. He's very excited to have this done. He's passionate about it. He plans to be present at the inspection. So if the inspection is... They should call and give a heads up that they're coming at least same day or day before. We think it'll probably be Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, because the Ministry of Gender, most of their staff is out right now, out of town, doing a county tour where they go from county to county all over Liberia and try to listen to the people's needs and try to figure out how to help the welfare situation in Liberia, which is a big job. So office hours are kind of spotty. But I want to pause real quick and show you guys the road leading up to the mattress factory, and then I'll come back.
If it looks like in the video that the KKs are coming at us head on, it's true.
Okay, so, I mean, before I turned on the video, and I tried to do it in double time so you guys wouldn't have to be, I know you feel kind of drunk, but that's how much like when you're watching my video, how much the video is bouncing. I'm holding it completely still, but our car is like off-road. Like, we need we had an Avalanche growing up, like when I was in high school. My dad drove an Avalanche, and that is what we need. Because even the Armada just sits lower to the ground. I mean, you need we saw an F-250, like probably a 2000 model F-250 for sale today. And Jeremy was like,
that's an old farm truck.
We need that. But I watched this. So where we were, all the 18-wheelers come through. And that's part of the reason why the road is so bad is there's flooding there. It's very close to the shoreline. There's no like grade codes. Like they don't do when you build something, you have to do it to codes and you have to make the grade just perfect so the water will run off and the road will not be a puddle. There's none of that here. And, I got pretty depressed driving there because the closer we got to the ocean, there's more waterways and we're crossing these bridges and there's just trash everywhere. And I watched this river and there's all this trash just built up everywhere. It's overwhelming. It's like one of those littering commercials where they show the mountains and the landfills. It's like a landfill. And then you look down the way, like the canal. It's almost like looking down the canals in Florida where we live. Just look down the waterway. It's like a river. And I see a little boy filling up a water bottle and drinking it. And I just wanted to, I just want to be stop the car. But I can't. There's so many things like that are so overwhelming. And we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But one thing we could do today is make the orphanage as bougie as possible. So we did that. So the next thing I'm going to stop, so we went to the mattress factory. And God bless our driver for taking video I normally don't put our kids in any of the videos. You may kind of see them walking around. You probably won't see their faces. They were very helpful, but he was also catching the videos he knows we do the YouTube videos. So, but I'm trying to be careful about putting my kids in there just because they're, young, but they were so involved and helpful. So we got, so Albert had told me the mattresses would be between $30 and $35 a piece. And I believe him that 2 years ago, that's what they probably cost. But they were $70 a piece. And he looked at me, he was like, let's just get 10.
Now, how much were the very cheapest ones? They were 30?
There were the foam ones that are 27, but he didn't get, I thought he had bought the foam ones before, but he didn't. He bought the spring ones, but he got the lower grade. So we got the higher grade this time. So there were 70, and so he looks at me, he's like, we'll just get 10 instead of 15. I was like, no, I do Albert math. I know how this works. It's the same way with Nelson, who runs the Hobie orphanage with Sela. And Sela and I laughed about this. I do believe him at some point it was probably priced lower.
Sure.
But I also know that when you're running a nonprofit and you're helping take care of kids in an orphanage and people are helping you and agree to pay for something, you want to give them the best case scenario. But what we really need is the worst case scenario. So I have learned to do Albert math. So I had budgeted for $40 a mattress, but I had not budgeted for sheets. And toilet seats I had budgeted more like $10 or $15 a piece, and they were only $5 a piece. But that's neither here nor there.
No, they were 10. The toilet seats were 10 each.
Oh, sorry, 10. I had budgeted more for 15 or 20 actually is what I thought for toilet seats. Anyways.
Now we may need those down the road.
So here's what we did. But you guys were so generous. I had reached out to just the waiting families, and they had reached out to some of their friends and family. I had not put it on the broad range, but that's why we had $2,395 donated, earmarked for the orphanage, and then the extra $300 donated for the car. So that's $2,700 basically, and in 12 hours, which is amazing. And you got to think about these waiting families. They're like us. They're out of money. I mean, they got plane tickets. They're probably borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. They're doing everything. They're calling all their friends and cousins and aunts and uncles. I'm getting all these names across my Venmo. I'm like, who is this? So I'm like texting one person. I'm like, do you know a Paul? And they're like, no. And I'm like texting this other person. I'm like, do you know a Paul? And she's like, oh yeah, that's actually my cousin. My cousin's husband. It's like, it's not even Paul. It's like his wife. So I'm like, because I just want to make sure to thank all the right people and follow up with them about, the success and what we did with their stuff. So for us, our big thing today, we had to pay our driver, which we pay him $20 a day. And we have to put gas in the car. So that was $40.
Yep.
And then of course we had to keep our kids alive. And we got cookies for all the kids at the orphanage, and I bought 4 jump ropes. So that right there, just that in Liberia, we're already up to $150 every time we leave this property. We've spent $150. So when I did the math with Albert initially, what he came up with was like it was about $1,000 of what his guesstimates were. But then I kind of doubled it because I know how this goes. And he was really relieved when he was like, well, instead of 15 mattresses, we'll just get 10. Because they have 36 kids. Some of the babies, they sleep kind of in an area, like a pack and play. They're not sleeping on a full mattress. There's 3 children that are 2 and under. So, I mean, they're not getting in a big bunk bed. But, they're staying close to the caregivers and like in the baby room. But they don't have cribs. So, which they really don't need cribs. But, like, everybody can walk and climb. I put them in a crib, they'd probably flip on out. But the bunk beds are a little bit, we had to make sure they were all sturdy. But then they're always fixing them. But anyways, I digress. So we had plenty of money, and we actually still have a couple $100 left. So I told Albert, I was like, think about it tomorrow if there's anything else you need. So with the extra money, we were able to get the nice mattresses and going to get 15 of them. He did get them from $70 to $60 a piece. And then the bed sheets, so twin bed sheet set, like a pillowcase, a flat sheet, and a fitted sheet, were $8 a piece. He talked him down to $6 a piece. And then he got 4 area rugs that were really nice, that were $165 for all of them. And then he got, we got 4 shower curtains too. And the bathtubs are huge. Like, they're like big, like garden size, bigger than a garden size tub. So they need 2 shower curtains to stretch all the way across. And they have that stuff, but it gets torn down. The kids play with it. I mean, it's like the curtains there. I was wondering if he was going to ask me for curtains, but he didn't. And then we got the wall clock the day before. All the duffel bags are packed with all the kids' personal items that we bought at the China Mall the day before. So but you can spend $2,000. I mean, we spent $2,000.
So fast.
In 48 hours.
But man, some of those mattresses we moved and changed out, it was time.
Oh, it was beyond time.
Yeah, they just.
And the kids play on them too. So some of the nannies are scared for them to sleep on the top bunk. So they leave the mattress there on the top bunk during the day. But at night, and I can tell you, many of those kids don't need to be on the top bunk. They're crazy. And they're going to roll off. And it's concrete when they roll off. I mean, they pull them down. So when moving the mattresses back and forth, you can just know, what does a kid do with a mattress on the floor? It's a trampoline.
Sure.
So that was.
It's the rainy season, so they left the plastic on, which was good. It'll help last longer.
Oh yeah, I know. She's like, we're leaving the plastic on.
But did you notice this was the chef's kiss?
Chef's kiss.
Like when you get there, when you pull in and look at the front porch, guess what's there in the center? On the outside of the clock.
The homeschool dad clock.
And I'm like, it's so perfect, man.
I have a picture.
When they roll up for the investigation, it's just going to be like, I mean, honestly, if they just nitpick this, and there's
nothing to find.
I mean, we
upgraded it to like A++.
Brand new mattresses, brand new sheets. There's toilet seats everywhere, which they'll probably break them in a week. I
put a small picture. The kids are not; their faces aren't in there because I really don't take pictures of kids and put them on the internet. But they're looking the other way. But a couple of the little boys were just following around Jeremy and the security guard Augustine. I mean, Augustine's not just a security guard; he's like the groundskeeper, he fixes everything. He fixes everything there.
He's maintenance.
Yeah, he's maintenance. He's everything. He's construction. But, because he'd been fixing those bunk beds. They weren't even in that front room because they're moving some of the kids. Some of the boys are big enough to move over to the other house. So, so the pictures, I'm going to put in some pictures and then, you'll see, but you can see a picture of Jeremy and Augustine changing out the toilet seats. Because the toilet seats, even in America, like a plastic toilet seat that 36 kids can use is a mess. Like, you can't.
I was doing the math when you're talking about the shower curtains. That's like 72 hands. If you think about it, just pulling on it.
And probably what we'll do with that last $200 is get that water pump fixed for good, like definitively.
That'd be nice.
But it's not just the water pump; it's the pipes too. So I don't know. So I took pictures of the solar panel batteries. There were lights in every room. There are toilet seats are changed out. Shower curtains weren't hanging when we left, but they were there. We put sheets on most of the beds. We didn't get to all of them. We moved all the mattresses off the gazebo and into the thing, and the nannies were just so grateful. And Albert had said he had to go to a meeting today with one of the for this suspension lifting. He had another meeting he had to go to, so he was in his business casual again. But okay, so the funniest part, when we left I'm going to show this. So the first picture you're going to see is the video of us at the pictures and videos of the actual mattress warehouse, and the last picture you'll see is them loading the mattresses into this like station wagon hatchback like Nissan Sentra style. It's like, I think it was a Toyota Corolla.
It was impressive.
So I looked at Albert after we were making, he's like, can we go on and pay now? I've got the deal ready to go. You know, I let him do his own negotiating. And I was like, oh yeah, Jeremy has the card. And then he comes back with the receipt and he's all smiling like this big victory, like, here we go. And I'm like, so what did we do about delivery? He's like, oh, I forgot to talk about delivery. So he walks back into the little, it's almost like buying a car. Mm-hmm. It's like that little office with the glass and you're behind the door and you're like signing away
very
for
much like that, yeah.
Like your car. It's very much like that. You'll see. And he said, I didn't negotiate. So and he goes and talks to them. Well, all their delivery trucks are out. So they won't hit. They're like, we can deliver on Monday. And I'm like, we have no idea when the inspection's coming. It could be tomorrow. It could be Monday. It could be Tuesday. It could be Friday. We don't know. But we're supposed to be early in the week. So we're like, well, we can't take that risk. Plus, we got to put it all together. You got to put the sheets on. You got to do all that stuff. And when you're taking care of 36 kids, there's only 5 caregivers that are ever there. And they rotate. So it's like 3 during the day, 2 at night. They have a rotation. So, you know, it's not like they can, it's a lot of work. So we need it done. We need it there ASAP. Well, he just goes out in the street and walks around till he finds a nice gentleman in a pink t-shirt. That's about, you know, he's probably about mid-40s.
Oh, man.
And he's a taxi driver. And Albert's like, I have 15 twin-size mattresses. Can you carry them to my orphanage home? And what will you charge me? And the guy said $25. And Albert said, do you think you can get them all? He said, sold. I'm like, no way. No way is this going to work. Like, where's his car? And I'm like, because I'm looking at the Armada. We're in a Nissan Armada. And Albert's in a Nissan Pathfinder. And all we need is some bungee cords and some tie-down rope. And I can get them on there. But if we can pay somebody $25 to do it for us, then I don't want to drive down the road with mattresses that are going to fall off. So I'll show you the picture so you can see what they're doing. So they basically took like 5 or 6 of the mattresses. He laid down his seats and pushed them all the way in. And they're hanging out the back and roped them down. And then they took the rest of the 10 mattresses and bundled them like a bale of hay.
Yeah.
And then put them on each side. And then loaded them on top of his car. And I wanted so bad to beat him there so that I could see it pull in and see the kids' faces, because it's like a clown car. Like, this is ridiculous. But we had to go to the supermarket to get the kids a snack. And we had to go get the toilet seats, which the toilet seat thing was the easiest purchase we made all day.
Yeah.
We went to, they didn't take cards. We had to pay cash, but luckily I was prepared with cash.
I did get a receipt though.
Jeremy was not prepared with cash. He always brings just enough. And I'm like,
I don't want to walk around Liberia with excess cash.
I think you should always have about $100 on you. It's a good thing I did.
Yes.
So I really wanted to get this big basket thing that fits. I want one. It's like these bright colors. I want one before we go. And I was going to get it today, but we didn't have time. So I'm going a different day. But that's why I had some walking around money for that. But then I also had an extra hundo just in case. You never know. Like if the card machine breaks down and you can't get gas, you can't get groceries, you're exposed. And he always knows I have money, so he's always like, do you have, and he know, it's not like it's his money or my money. It all comes from the same place. Everybody has access to the envelope. But it's just he doesn't like to carry it around because it's like he's saving it if he doesn't carry it around. Right?
I don't know.
You lie.
I just get what
all right, I'm going to pause and show. So what you're going to see is you're going to see the video of the thing. The video of the place and then pictures from the orphanage of everything being fixed.
This is Mr. Awa, who heading the orphanage home.
All of these are, we have 32 of these, 33 of these, and then it's
Yeah. Because some of those white ones, you know, some of the face fit on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He has which color?
Yeah.
Oh, they come in one. They come in one.
Wait, we may want to change the color.
I'm for the tasting in this one.
Yeah, because our children, so I leave it right now. Fine.
Okay.
Hang on.
You want this on this color?
You want me to say up, eh?
You want to do all of them that color? Oh, he was saying some of the children eat that a little bit, so we want the red instead. You want to do all red?
No, not all, but
We just want to make some up.
There's more red. There's
maybe
tons.
20 of this.
There's plenty of red.
20 other this.
Yeah, 20 of this.
But there's blue over there too.
We need 20 red, then the rest can
We
come
have
from here.
20 behind you, Albert. I think they're 50.
Yeah, Abu, some please now.
Do you want to do them all red? I bet they have them.
No, not all.
20 red
Yeah,
and
16.
16 of this.
Yeah, no problem.
20 red and 16 the white.
Yep.
That's okay.
At least they have a bag full of the same color.
I like the red. It looks nice.
Just one. Please, just one. Thank you.
Are you hiring? Are you hiring?
This 20, yeah?
Hey, Lexi, I'm trying to get you a job.
Nothing.
You like that one?
Yeah, fast.
5 of those?
Yeah.
You have 5 of those? Is this 20?
Yeah, this one.
You said to avoid the flowers.
You love that color too?
No, I like the color.
But I know you're doing it for the kids. Children know to control white thing.
Are these okay for the shower curtain?
Yes.
I thought they only had 2 showers.
No, he said they needed 4 shower curtains.
Huh, they have 4 showers?
Sacrifice.
Let's see. 1, 2 for each shower.
25 now.
25. Okay.
This 4 or 5.
People, on that. People, no, on. Hey, down there.
Down at the bottom on the left.
Okay. Okay, yeah, okay,
What about
fast.
behind?
Now 30. This 30.
30.
Now we
Okay.
need
We need 6 more.
Of what?
Need 6. This
There
color.
you
He's worried that there will stain.
One more.
Sorry. I didn't think of the stain. I was thinking of the beauty.
White color.
You're laughing at me. I mean, I was just thinking of the aesthetically pleasing, all matching, bright in the room.
They are
Are
pretty.
you recording this?
Yeah, yes.
Are you going to send it to
To
me?
send it to you.
Thank you.
They are pretty.
I'm going to put in my video.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are pretty too.
Remove all from this bag and put it.
I'm sorry he had to go hunt
Don't
them.
worry, don't worry.
Okay.
Add 3 more, please.
Okay, one last count. 1, 2,
They need more
3,
4.
4, 5.
Well, it is for small work of
Reminds
finish
me
home
of counting shoes.
for the inspection to make the place decent before the people get there. Make sure things be fine and make the place neat. But thanks for your understanding. Taking the white from the side to take this colorful tape because of the stain.
30.
32.
I
This
think
other size.
Okay. So everything in the orphanage looks great. So the last picture I'm going to show at the very end of our video, my 8-year-old Liberian daughter knows how to crochet. I have no, oh, you get my puppy? I have no idea how, like, one of the nannies taught her to crochet. Yarn is so hard to find here. So she asked me, she was crocheting. So this is my half done puppy, but this is the yarn I used for my oldest daughter's hair extensions, and I had extra. So I'd already started on the puppy. So I did most of the puppy. I'm finishing the puppy in the white. The puppy's going to be mismatched because she wanted that color yarn. I showed her a picture and took it to her. She made a hat out of it. So the last picture is her. She crocheted an entire hat. She ran out of yarn, so she was kind of embellishing flowers with yarn on the front of it. But I'm like, girl, this is cool. So I'm going to have to try to find her some more yarn. I was watching a video today on how to make yarn with like a... So I'm going to try to figure that out. But I was so impressed. Like in 24 hours, she made an entire like crochet hat that fits her head. Almost. It's a little small.
Yep.
I was impressed.
Very cute.
So,
yeah, my last thing I'll say is that it was as good as it was to get in and get her hands dirty. It just, in this unjust process, it feels like the last mile in a marathon. I think that's where we are.
this can be our puppet.
You listening?
Last mile in a marathon. Yes, sir, I am.
So it just feels like, it was good to do it, but it was so bittersweet as, this should have maybe happened like, I don't know, 6 months ago.
I mean, I think that they'll go, if the U.S. Embassy goes in there, they'll be like, oh, this is too nice. You're taking too much money. Or where'd you get all the money to do this? I'm like, that's what I think will happen.
Insert lawyer here.
I'm like,
Fight the good fight, my man.
And there's been times that, like, in the last 24 hours, even yesterday's videos, I've just been very emotional because I'm so tired of just all of it. Like, I mean, even when we get in the car from the supermarket, we're leaving. I don't want to give cash to people that are begging because there's 3 or 4 people there and they like mob you. And I'm pretty sure that if I give a nice old lady that's skin and bones $5, that as soon as we drive away, somebody's going to beat her up and take it. Like, it's like mob mentality everywhere there. But there's just, at every turn, there's lack of education and lack of resources and lack of just knowledge of, like, you can't throw your trash into your water source. You can't pee into your water source or other things. You can't wash your car. I mean, there's just, your water source is your life, and they don't understand that. So they just don't understand. And it's like, it's just overwhelming. And that's why, like, we can't leave without our kids because we've just come too far and we've helped too much and we're too invested now that we can't leave without our kids. But unless we get a lot of hefty donations between now and we can't make it past August 1st no matter what.
Like, the process has to start now. Like, we have to start the actual.
Like, there's no more. We had enough money to make it for 4.5 months, and there were some things that were more expensive, some things that we've been able to trim down. Where we're staying is $100 a night, which is the cheapest I could find in Liberia with a security guard. So, and we're staying pretty plush. So, and I don't think everybody can get that deal. The Tropicana is usually $200 a night. If you do an extended stay, it's $160 a night for a bigger family. Family of 4 or higher. We're a family of 5, but they don't really count my youngest. Then we only get 4. It's fine, but you can't find. So if you're coming with your family and you stay at the Tropicana, I would expect to pay $160 a night, and it includes a meal, and that's fair for here. But like they feel sorry for us. And I feel sorry for us. So we're into 4 months, and it's like we just financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, logistically, like mental health. Like I would say both Jeremy and I, in 7 days' time, I think, like, we don't sleep. Like, we're up till 5 and 6 in the morning, just tossing and turning. Like, last night, mosquitoes were biting me. It was kind of hot. Like, I have a little bit of asthma, but it's not really been bad here. But like, and now that the rainy season's here, every time it rains, I'm having to wake up and go find my inhaler. And I know I need to, like, break down and take some prednisone, but then I'll never sleep. So I'm like, I can't do that. But we don't, like, I would say collectively, like, there's never a time that we go to sleep and both of us slept through the night and woke up feeling great the next morning, ready for the day. It just doesn't happen anymore. Mm-hmm. It did in the beginning, even though we had kind of a bad mattress. We would sleep, But now we're not even sleeping. And I bet our cortisol levels are just so high from the stress and the uncertainty of the unknown. And trying to take the uncertainty of the unknown and surrender that back to God and just continue to go to sleep and wake up and do the next right thing, the next best thing, whatever's in front of you, and look towards the future, but do the things that you can do, is harder than it sounds here. And so, I don't know, but I will say this, I had connected with all of the waiting families. Some of them I've been connected with since before I got to Liberia, and some of them are dear friends of mine that I've known, and we've been friends, Only one of them was I friends with before we pursued our adoption, but that has definitely increased our friendship. But then we're adopting from the same orphanage. But now that we have two unmatched families that we talk to we've connected with, one recently and one over the last few months. And I can't wait to see who they get matched with. I'm so pumped about it. But there are other families, but I'm now officially, as of like last night, I've finally connected with Emily Warren. We had talked before, but she's not really that much on social media, and I hadn't like stalked her like as much. But she was one that I know her kids. I know she's matched with them. She's fantastic. But I hadn't chatted with her as much, and I hadn't heard from her in a few months, and since we got here. But we have a mutual friend, and so we reconnected. And one of the things that she really wanted to know is how to pronounce one of her son's names, because the spelling's weird and it's hard to pronounce. And I was like, I think it's this. I call him this and he answers, but I could probably call him George and he would answer, and that's not his name.
Hey,
If I've got, they call them biscuits, but a package of cookies, they're all but her kids are not, they're not standouts in the crowd. They're not like bouncing off the walls. They're not kids that I'm constantly having to be like, please don't bite anyone. Please don't throw things. Like, they're not, they're good kids. They're similar ages to our daughters. So I think they're like 6 and 8, 5 and 7, 6 and 8, but, something in there, but they're well-behaved kids. So they're not like, so I'm not constantly saying their names. One of them is an easy name because it's an American name, and the other one is a little bit tricky. So I'm like, my oldest Liberian daughter will know. So today I got an audio recording, no faces, and had them say their own names but they talk so quietly. They're like, and I'm like, so I had my oldest Liberian daughter who's 8. She knows all of it. Had her say it, and there were 2 other girls that were standing there, had them say their names. So there were several, but even between like the kids themselves, I mean, there was a little variation of this one child's name. So, but it was one of those things that she just had been like, I don't know how to say his name. I've been matched with him for 2 years and I can't figure out the pronunciation. And so today we nailed it. So I sent her the audio of that video, and she's just like so excited for just that one piece of information. That, I mean, the orphanage director, if he knew that, he would have sent her a recording months ago. But like, how do you explain that? It's like something you don't think of. Mm-hmm. So I got their names and their best colors, their favorite colors, and shared that with her. And some of the other ones I've been able to share with their parents, like their favorite colors, their favorite foods, the things that they like the most, the things they're most excited about. So I think that's the silver lining. It reminds me of like when an ER patient comes in and they're sick and they're critical, and their family has to call the ambulance, and the family arrives separately from the patient, and they have to wait in the waiting room until we go talk to them. And if I'm the one that gets, sometimes I want to go tell them, like if we're working on it together, if the doc and I are working on it together and all the nurses are in there, we're trying to stabilize this patient, as soon as they're stable, I'm an easy step away. Like, I can step away and go, because I'm support, I'm the PA, I'm the support staff. I'm the extra mind in the back of the room, just making sure there's not one extra thing we could do, just an extra set of hands. And it reminds me of that walk into the waiting room and saying, they're still alive, they're good. And then like the list of questions like, what about this, or what about that, or do you know how to do this, or do you know how to do that? Now, this isn't a critical situation where these kids are unsafe or emergent or not stable or whatever, but it does feel the same to me as going to the waiting room and notifying a family they're good, they're stable, they're okay, you did everything right, you're doing everything right, but you can't see them yet. That's how it feels. And it's hard to be that person. Yeah. Like I enjoy it. It's the silver lining. It's literally like the thing that I know that I can do for sure every week is connect all of those parents to some piece of information about their kids, like not pictures of them, but just information. Like, this is what we're doing. This is how their day went. So I recommend you guys bring yarn and jump ropes. All the kids love jump ropes, even the little ones that can't jump rope. And the girls are learning how to knit and crochet, and the yarn is hard to find here. So bring rolls of yarn. They're going to love it.
And soccer balls, maybe.
I put on our Facebook group chat with just the parents today that I really hoped that this was the last thing and that we would all be celebrating the end of this and a victory by buying plane tickets next week.
That would be amazing. It has to start.
And if anyone has a connection at Delta, I need a Delta. I have a Delta problem. I need a Delta favor.
We have to get to
I
the
have a plane
start
ticket
line.
problem. Okay. Is that all?
That's it. Bye.
Bye.